Hello everyone, welcome back to the Computer and IT Fundamentals Practical series. In this practical, we are going to learn about group policy, also known as GPO, in a Windows Server Active Directory environment. We will first understand what group policy is, and then I'll demonstrate 5 simple practical steps using my Windows Server virtual machine. We'll work with the Group Policy Management console, configure a USB restriction, configure password security settings, and finally verify that the policy has been applied. Before moving into the practical, let's quickly understand what group policy actually means. Group policy is a Windows feature that allows administrators to centrally manage configuration and security settings for user and computers. These configurations are stored inside Group Policy Objects or GPOs. Instead of manually configuring every computer, an administrator can create a policy once and apply it to the required user or computer in the Active Directory environment. For example, an organization can use group policy to enforce password requirements, restrict removable storage, control access to certain Windows feature, and apply other security settings. Group policy is mainly managed using the Group Policy Management Console or GPMC. Now let's start the practical. I am currently on my Windows Server virtual machine which is configured with Active Directory. Now I'll open the Group Policy Management console, also called GPMC. Here I can see my Active Directory domain and the existing group policy object. GPMC is the main interface that we'll use to create and manage group policy objects in this practical. Now I'll create a new group policy object. I'll right click group policy object, select new, and give the policy a descriptive name: USB restriction policy. I'm using a separate GPO so that this security configuration is clearly identified and can be managed independently. Now, I'll open the policy by selecting Edit. This takes me to the Group Policy Management Editor where I can configure actual settings. Now, I'll configure the USB restrictions. I'll go to User Configuration, Policies, Administrative Templates, System, and then Removable Storage Access. I'll select all removable storage classes, deny all access. I'll enable this setting and click Apply. This policy is designed to deny access to removable storage classes when the policy is applied to the targeted user or computer. This is a simple example of using group policy as an endpoint security control. Next, I'll configure a basic domain password policy. I'll open the default domain policy and navigate to Computer Configuration, Policies, Windows Setting, Security Settings, Account Policy, and Password Policy. For this demonstration, I'll configure two important settings. First, I'll set the minimum password length to 8 characters. Then, I'll enable the password complexity requirement. These settings help enforce stronger passwords for domain accounts. I'll apply the changes and close the editor. Finally, let's refresh and verify the group policy settings. I have opened command prompt as administrator, and next I'm going to run gp update slash force command. This command basically forces Windows to refresh the group policy settings immediately. Once the update is complete, I'll run gp result slash r. This command shows the resultant set of policy information, including the group policy objects that have been applied. This gives us a quick way to verify and troubleshoot group policy processing. Let's connect this practical to a real world IT environment. Suppose a new employee named John Smith joins the IT department. First, the IT admin creates the user's Active Directory account and assigns the user to the appropriate security groups. Group policy can then be used to enforce security configurations for the user's computer or account. For example, the organization may require strong passwords and restrict access to removable storage. Instead of manually configuring these controls on every computer, the admin can manage them centrally through group policy. This provides consistent security controls across the organization's Windows environment. So, Active Directory manages identities and groups, while group policy helps enforce configuration and security requirements across those users and computers. So that completes practical 12 on group policy. In this practical, we learned what group policy is, explored the group policy management console, created a USB restriction policy, configured password security settings, and verified group policy using GP update and GP result. The main idea to remember is that group policy allows administrators to centrally enforce configuration and security settings across an Active Directory environment. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next practical.